mandated by the people to bring us out of oppression. Well, tonight, I challenge my young people once again. It is time for the oppression to stop. Let us join with the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Let us join with the United National Congress. And let us get the young people of Diego Martin and all across Trinidad and Tobago working again. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you, and I look forward to standing and fighting with you.
The higher you build your barriers, the taller I become. The farther you take my rights away, the faster I will run. You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away. No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong.
Live from the Diego Martin constituency, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome full-time farmer Davika Suku.
Oh, something inside so strong.
Honorable political leader, Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, and you, the UNC family, good night. During an individual's lifetime, you may visit the doctor once for the year, and a dentist probably twice for the year. However, we depend on a farmer every day. In fact, we depend on a farmer 3 times per day, every day, to sustain our lives. If you ate today, thank a farmer. My name is Davika Suku. I'm a full-time farmer. I'm a 4th-generation full-time farmer. I cultivate watermelons, melon, okra, and pumpkin, just to name a few of my crops. My farm is well established, and it's on its way of being one of the larger producing farms located in East Trinidad. On my farm, I employ 10 full-time young persons who are now able to see agriculture as a viable career option and a means of self-sustainability. Ladies and gentlemen, I have done better than the government. I am employing young people while the I.A.N government is retrenching. I am a real farmer. I'm a serious farmer. I am invested my youth in the agriculture sector. I take what I do seriously. This is my life's work. I expect the investment in farming to create a life that I always dreamt of, to sustain a marriage whenever that occurs, to take care of my children, and when I get old, even pay my medical bills. My colleague farmers and I have been living a nightmare since this I.A.N government was voted into office. Their policies are destined to kill my crops and my dreams. They will kill my passion. My passion is about producing food to feed the nation. And my farm was well on its way on becoming the largest producing farm in Trinidad. But this P&M government is putting everything that I've worked hard at risk. They are taking away from farmers' livelihood and sustainability. For many years, farmers like myself and the many of you sitting around us here tonight have been facing the battle of poor agriculture access roads, lack of irrigation pond, no land tenure, and the extensive shortage of water. In 2010 to 2015, under the leadership of Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, farmers were able to benefit from the revised incentive programs, where farmers were able to access loans from the Agricultural Development Bank easily, and each young farmer my age was able to comfortably purchase farm vehicles to take their produce from the farm to the markets daily. The Hilux that brought me here tonight is the result of the revised incentive program, the access roads that were constructed throughout this country. Back then, excavation pond was incentive up to 25% of the total cost of the excavating. After Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar introduced the revised incentive program, it went up to 75% of the total cost. So that means if a pond costed $32,000 prior to 2010, a farmer was only able to retrieve up to $8,000. After the revised incentive program in 2011, a person was now able to retrieve up to $24,000. Under the leadership of Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, we the young farmers saw the involvement in the agriculture sector as a feasible and noble career. With this present government, I am totally disheartened to even continue production on my farm. But why? No preventative flooding measures, no desilting of major rivers and water courses. The water woes continue. In the dry season, no water is available to farmers, and in the rainy season, there is too much water. This list goes on. No land tenure, threat to shut down the historic St. Augustine nurseries, no incentive for flood victims, and the rise of predator larceny cases. And now the government has taken up to lock up pumps when farmers were trying to wet their crops. I am a victim of predator larceny. Just 1 month ago, my irrigation hose that costed over $10,000 that I used to wet my 4 acres of watermelon was stolen from my watermelon farm. Under this wicked P&M government, food production is down and crime is up.
Down in the Trinidad we have a music farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm we have enough musicians. E-I-E-I-O.
As a young progressive farmer who is interested in upgrading the efficiency of my farm and exploring protected agriculture and modern-day technology agriculture systems, I want to ask Minister Clarence Rambarat and Minister Colin Edbert for some accountability tonight. Can you, Minister Rambarat, tell the farmers of Trinidad and Tobago the status of the Promised Agriculture Finance Program grant? This grant was supposed to be over $20 million pool of farmers, which was supposed to be released to farmers up to $100,000 tranches to help improve farmers and their efficiency. Let me tell you all about this grant. The application due date was the 30th of November 2018, and a response was promised within 60 days, which means the 30th of January, the response was due. 220 days later, I got this letter, and it states, "Dear Ms. Suku, thank you for showing your interest in the grant facility. Regrettably, your application was not successful in receiving the approval of the funding. However, they're bold-faced enough to tell me they're wishing me success in my future endeavors. But I will tell Mr. Clarence Rambara tonight, please identify the recipients of this grant. And can you assure us it is not the friends and the family and the financiers of the PNM who are the recipients? The real recipients. Grants should be the friends and the family. But farmers, we are asking Minister Clarence Rambara, where the money gone? Where the $20 million gone?
Down in the Trinidad, we have a music farm. E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm, we have no musicians. E-I-E-I-O.
Instead, the PNM government has blatantly disrespected the farmers and the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Pumps which were used to irrigate crops for food production were seized by the Water and Sewage Authority. And that is not all. The action was supported by the Public Utilities Minister, Minister Robert Leigh Hunt. The consequence, farmers' crops were left to wilt and dry. Millions of dollars were lost in crops during this time. Is this the consideration the PNM has for our farmers? So tell us, why don't we have adequate monies being allocated to the agriculture sector? While this issue is affecting the livelihood of our farmers, guess what? They aren't the only ones being affected. Do you know who else is being affected? You, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, are being affected. When government seizes pumps during this period of harsh sun, the farmers lose their assets and by extension their crops. The supply of locally produced goods coming to the local marketplace is significantly reduced, and the ripple effect of food prices goes sky high. Who are the ones suffering here? The farmers and you, the Trinidad and Tobago consumers of food, will feel the effect. For every pump Mr. Leigh Hunt authorized to seize, hundreds and thousands of crops are dying. The effect, food prices going up. Tonight, we the young people and the farmers must unite and get rid of this heartless PNM government. Farmers, young and old, show me your voting finger and let us all stand in solidarity and vote for Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar and the United National Congress. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
The higher you build your barriers, the taller I become. The farther you take my rights away, the faster I will run. You can deny me, you can decide to turn your face away. No matter, 'cause there's something inside so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong.
From the Diego Martin constituency, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senator Wade Moore.
So strong. Oh, something inside so strong.
Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. Let us warmly welcome our next Prime Minister, Honorable Kamala Prasad Sessa. My colleagues at the head table, parliamentary colleagues, friends, my brothers and sisters all of the Diego Martin community and its environs. This evening, I would like to address you on the subject, the haves and the have-nots, the tale of the haves and the have-nots. It is about the economic elite versus you and me and the vast majority. It is about the P&M, brothers and sisters, friends, family, financiers, Faris, and the young and restless. My brothers and sisters, it's about the brutality and oppression of the many and the promotion of the interest by the P&M of the few. My brothers and sisters, this is where the bulk of our wealth and our income is being accumulated and allocated under this P&M government. We have been repeatedly told since this incompetent regime, this useless and wicked government arrived on the stage, that the country has no money. The treasury is empty. We're running on fumes. You remember that? The question is, no money for whom? It's no money for you. It's no money for the ordinary people. It's no money for the workers and the farmers. But brothers and sisters, for the friends, their family, their financiers, Faris, and the young and restless, they're living nice. Whilst we, brothers and sisters, languish and swirl in a sea of poverty and deprivation, you have these people living it nice and easy. I want to tell you, brothers and sisters, about a company. I want you to pay attention carefully about a loss-making company whose chief executive officer is a fella by the name of Angus Young, the brother of Stuart Young, the sons of Richard Young. I want you to understand, brothers and sisters, that this was a loss-making company, dead, but resurrected under Rowley and Stuart Young and P&M, brothers and sisters. Let me give you some examples so you will understand the asset base of this company. This company is known as NCB Global Finance. I want you to remember that name. Its CEO is a fellow called Angus Young. They started with a meager asset base of $132 million in 2015. You know, in 2 years, in less than 2 years, by the end of 2017, their asset grew from 132 million to 351 million. And you know what is even more alarming? The owners of that business did not put a red cent into the company. I will tell you where the money came from. My brothers and sisters, this company called NCB Global Finance, they increased what is called their customer deposit base from what? $83 million in 2015 to the unbelievable number of $268 million in 3 years, brothers and sisters. I want you to keep in mind, they put a cent into this company. Where did the money come from? My brothers and sisters, we have the evidence here, which we will share with you tonight. You know where the money come from? It came from you. It came from me. It came from the ordinary people of Trinidad and Tobago. So here what they did. They went to a company owned by Trinidad and Tobago people, the citizens. It's called the Home Mortgage Bank. They took from that bank, sell 33 million shares from that bank by, who arranged it? NCB Global Finance. You know how much they get? They get $46.9 million. You know where that $46.9 million is today? In NCB Global Finance. So they take our money, they sell our shares, they take our money and they put it into the account of NCB Global Finance. Who owns it? A fella called he's the CEO. Angus Young. Who is it, brother? The minister of everything, master of nothing, Stuart Young. As if that wasn't enough, they went to the National Flour Mills, owned by the people, 51%. They actually loaned the NFM $10 million US. But you know, in return, the NFM had $75 million deposited at this company called NFM. So in return for my $75 million, they lent me 10 million US. But for my 10 million US that I borrowed, they charged me 5.75%. But for my 75 million, they charged me 2.5 in interest on that. That is how they end up making the money, brothers and sisters. That wasn't enough. They went to where? Something called the National Insurance Board. That is where poor people put their money. And employers, they borrowed what? $35 million from the National Insurance Board. Put it on the Guardian Life holding on a fixed deposit. And that money was then deposited at NCB Global Finance, brothers and sisters. So they are taking money from us and making themselves rich and powerful. Then taking our money and they just buy over a company called Guardian Holding Limited. You would have seen that in the papers. They went to another company called Trinidad Nitrogen Company Limited. And brothers and sisters, they engaged in a transaction amounting to over $100 million over a 4-year period. So what is happening, brothers and sisters? I want to tell you, to crown it off, to top it off, the Prime Minister, the raging bull, you know what they did? UDCOT was under the control of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. You know what Rowley did? Rowley removed UDCOT from the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development on the 14th of November. And brothers and sisters, on the 15th of November, 1 day later, he was able, that is NCB, was able to sign off with UDCOT a loan for $180 million in less than 24 hours. Dr. Rowley has questions to answer. Imbert has questions to answer. Stuart Young has questions to answer. My brothers and sisters, whilst poor people are being retrenched at Petrotrin, poor people are being sent home at TSTT, everyday workers are being dismissed and fired all over the country. But you know what? PNM friends, family, financiers, Faris and Young having a good time at our expense. Brothers and sisters, the time has come for us to use this index finger and vote out the PNM. My brothers and sisters, it doesn't end there. That isn't all. You have, brothers and sisters, you have a fellow called Faris Alwari. The man rent us a building at number 3 Alexandra Place, brothers and sisters, for $600,000 a month. You know what? He said, listen, I don't want to be in the room with Rowley when we're taking that decision, so I am going to recuse myself. So Faris Alwari opened the door, closed it, and Rowley and them take a decision. But Rowley just lies so much. He said that he ensured that Faris recused himself when that decision was being taken to rent 3 Alexandra Place for $600,000 a month. You know where Rowley was? He was in a place called Uruguay. So Rowley is a magic man. He in the cabinet telling Arabi, recuse yourself, but at the same time attending a conference in a place called Uruguay. You see lie, you hear lie, lie. So my brothers and sisters, Faris Alwari and his wife and his family, after 3 years, gone smiling all the way to the bank with $23 million of our money because he rent us a building for $600,000 a month. And Rowley, the paragon of virtue, this man say he anti-corruption. He said, that's okay, Faris. It's no problem. I want to tell you tonight in Diego Martin what corruption means. Corruption simply means using your public office for private gain. And that is what Faris Alwari and the PNM are doing. It doesn't end there, brothers and sisters. The Faris clan, they're renting a building, brothers and sisters, at the corner of Agra and Patna Street, St. James, to accommodate special branch and intelligence unit of the police service at what? At a price, brothers and sisters, of $53,000 a month. Them fellas renting building all over the country. It does not end there. They're renting to the government of Trinidad and Tobago accommodation for the Ministry of Social Development at 45A, 45C, St. Vincent Street at a cost, brothers and sisters, of $159,000 a month. It's millions and millions of dollars they are reaping at the expense of the ordinary poor, vulnerable, oppressed, and downtrodden masses in Trinidad and Tobago. I ask you tonight, how much more can we take with the P&M? A government of thieves. They call it, there's a big word for them, kleptocratic. Kleptocratic means a government run by thieves. That is what the P&M is. I want to say a couple things before I close, but I can't go into details. I want to tell you something. There's a racket going on involving Neil and Mercy and Samakal, Southern Sales, in a lease rental racket involving WASA, TSTT, NGC, Trinidad and Tobago Postal Services. Brothers and sisters, they are raping the treasury with this criminal racket that they are carrying on with. And I want to tell you something. This man called Keith Rowley, the Wajang expert, you know, this man told us he's going to buy 2 58 meters Cape class patrol vessels for the Coast Guard. Young and restless, the Minister of Everything say it will cost us $35 million US each, $70 US for both. You know what? When the fella had his presentation, mind your business, he said it costing $600 million for the same 2 vessels that Stuart Young told us in August will cost us $475 million. You know what I want to tell you here tonight? We have the documents. No contract has been signed with Ostal. They gave to Ostal $40 million as advance payment, and they haven't signed any contract. You know what we discovered? The Australian National Bank chartered and purchased and chartered 2 of those same Cape class vessels for the Australian Navy. You know, in TT dollars, how much they pay for it? $300 million. Rowley told this country those same identical vessels are costing us $600 million. I want to ask Rowley tonight. I want to ask Stuart Young tonight. I want to ask Imber tonight. And that useless, wicked bunch of incompetents. I want to ask them, where is the extra $300 million going? My brothers and sisters, I want to close. I have many more things to say, but I can't because the honorable leader is here. I want to tell you, let us together gather at the table of brotherhood to bring down the walls of injustice, inequality, unequal opportunity, rampant poverty, and daily hardships facing our people. Let us together get our country working again by generating and building under the rising sun prosperity, fairness, justice, equality of opportunity for every citizen in Trinidad and Tobago. We did it in the past. We did it under our distinguished leader, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisessa. We brought 55,000 jobs to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and we will do it again. The rising sun is our only hope for salvation, for liberation, for emancipation. The UNC is the only vehicle to take our country to genuine freedom. And our leader, Kamla Prasad Bisasa, is the only genuine political leader to ensure your safety, your security, your prosperity, your equality, and equal opportunity for all of the people. Let us unite as one family, one community, one country to confront this wicked, evil, incompetent, worthless, and useless, oppressive PNM government. Long live the UNC. Long live Kamla Prasad Bisasa. Long live Trinidad and Tobago. Long live the United National Congress.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of Diego Martin. I'm elated to have been granted the privilege of introducing a person who is very special to everyone gathered here, and also the thousands listening across the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago. A very strong woman who, by her many accomplishments, has paved the way for thousands of young people in this country. This individual is very devoted, compassionate, selfless, empathetic, nurturing, loving, a history maker, a strong and fierce leader that only desires the best of our country and its people without biases towards creed, color, race, or class. In fact, her life's work is centered deeply in fighting for the poor and dispossessed. She's the only leader we can say ever had the young people of the nation as a priority on her agenda and at her heart. The only leader who has acted never forsaken, but always thinking about the future of Trinidad and Tobago. This woman went into office as Trinidad and Tobago's 7th and first ever female Prime Minister. Not once has she lost her compassion as humanity. Not once has she lost her compassion or humanity and has always put the best interest of her countries and its people. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as I now formally introduce to you Senior Counsel, Leader of the Opposition, our political leader, and destined to be Trinidad and Tobago's 2nd female Prime Minister, and the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisasa.
Love you too. Thank you. Thank you all very much. Diego Martin family, good evening. Special welcome to Dr. Daphne Phillips, our sister from Right in Diego Martin. Please give her a round of applause. those who are with us on this platform here in Diego Martin, the young, the bright, the experienced. Give them a round of applause, all our speakers here tonight. So, it's always a pleasure to be back in Diego Martin, but I can feel a fire burning in Diego Martin. I can feel your strength, and I can feel and hear the cries of the people of Diego Martin as everywhere in Trinidad and Tobago. And I heard my brother, comrade Wade Mark, Senator, talking about the greedy members of the Rowley team. But earlier I heard other speakers, Marsha and others, talking about the cries of the people, of the children here in Diego Martin, where you cannot get water, where they took away your baby grants, took away your food cards, but you have the greedy Faris, young, we just call them the young and restless. You talk about the friends, the financiers, and those who have so much, whilst there's so many others are going hungry, losing their jobs. Tonight I pledge again and recommit that my party will work with you to get Trinidad and Tobago working again. Working again. It's not about a handout, it's about a step up. All we ask for is to have a job. A sustainable job, that's what we want. That is what you want. That is a cry I hear everywhere I go in this country. Just give us a decent job. But they can't do that because they're too busy taking care of friends, family, and financiers. Where the money go on? Blame Kamala. Where the money go on? Blame Kamala. When we were there, we created 55,000 new jobs right here in Diego Martin. I can show you, I can talk, we can touch and feel and see the delivery during the time we were in office. I don't know if you can run the video of the work done here in Diego Martin, some of it. You all have the video for us. Those are just some of the projects. Some of the many projects. Nationwide development. So, I thank you all for your dedication, for your loyalty to the best party in Trinidad and Tobago. We welcome new members, those who have come to know what the UNC stands for and feel like this is the right place to be. I say welcome to all to the House of the Rising Sun. Over the last year, we have had on our platform many new faces speaking to you. Tonight again, we had a few new faces. I want you to give them all a round of applause as we welcome them. And tonight I want to tell you, everyone is welcome in the UNC. You have a space here. But all I ask of you is that you come and join and work hard with the rest of the membership if you want to move upwards in the party. We have had people working for years, and it is my intention to recognize them. I have said merit, hard work, and commitment is what will be promoted. Everyone will be given fair opportunities, and no one is entitled to anything without effort and hard work. We have MPs, we have councillors, we have activists, we have members who sacrifice and work hard every day, all day, in good conscience. They must be recognized for that, and we must show our gratitude, and we salute them for their commitment. So I say welcome. Come and join and show your ability to work, and you will be recognized. The only way is through work and effort. If you are lazy and feel you are entitled and you want things on a platter, just don't bother to come. Some may say, why do I have to work? I will tell you why. The UNC does not own any votes. We are not entitled to any person's vote. We must earn the vote of the citizen. So when you hear talk about split vote, I say to you tonight, that is nonsense. Nonsense. There is no such thing as a split vote. Understand? There is no such thing as a split vote. We must go and earn people's respect and put the arguments and the plans forward to win the vote. It's a single vote, one vote at a time, one citizen at a time. Your vote is not split. If your vote is split, then you're probably a schizophrenic. Yes? You have a split personality, that's what that means. If you don't want to work hard and get recognized through merit, and believe that gimmicks and PR stunts and insults to UNC members is going to help you, you are very much mistaken. You know, sometimes I see people out on the social media, and they are attacking the very UNC supporters. They call them sycophants and trolls. The very UNC supporters, they want the vote from the UNC supporters. They insult them and attack them out there. But I'm saying to you tonight, I want to warn people who pretend to be supporters on the social media that they need to tone down some of their rhetoric also. It does more harm than good when you get carried away with some of the things that I see you saying. I say we must have respect for each other if we want to earn the respect of others. But one thing is very clear, whilst I caution our own membership, one thing is very clear, that under Rowley, this country is going in the wrong direction. Here in Diego Martin, I ask you, have your MP served you in Diego Martin, whether it be Northeast, whether it be in Central, whether it be wherever Rowley is, have you been served? Rowley has abandoned not only his own constituency, but the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I ask you tonight, do you feel better under a Rowley government? Do you feel safer? Do you feel your job is secure if you have a job? You know, earlier this month, the major incident in Big Yard, Karen, had 3 people killed, a young girl shot in the crossfire. You remember that? You remember that? Do you feel reassured by your MP's response that the matter will be properly investigated? The rest of the country looked on in horror. We felt the pain of the parents of that child. As a mother, you feel the pain in your belly when your child is slaughtered in that manner. We felt the pain. It was another example of the runaway crime in our country. And I want you to look at the statistics. Anytime the PNM is in government, what happens? The murder rate goes up. The murder rate goes up every single time. Let me just read some of the stats for you very quickly. I took them out of the CAPA, the crime stats that are put out by the police. And you will see when the PNM is in power, crime goes up. Failure in crime fighting. I'm just looking for the page because I want to jump to that quickly before I share some other points with you. So here we are. We have a minister of national failure, the minister of everything and the master of nothing, Stuart Young. Right now he's off on a jaunt somewhere across the world. At the same time when he said we are going to be doing this mass registration exercise for Venezuelans, which his ministry is responsible for, what did he jump up and do? He fly out. Going off on an energy jaunt. And I don't see why he has to go. When it's an energy matter, when the Minister of Energy, this time they carry the Minister of Energy. But I don't know, they say he is the bag man, he carries the golf bag. So that is why every time Rowley goes, he has to go. But this time now, there's an important exercise that will be taking place. So let's look at the failure on crime. 2010, remember we came in May 2010 as a partnership. Murders 473. 2011, we brought it down to 352. 2012, 379. 13, 407. 2014, 403. Look what happened. In 2015, part of the year 2015, we were there. Murders climbed up to 420, started to go. 2016, under the PNM, 494. 2017, 494. 2018, 516. Up, 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 up. And this year, they had said April was the bloodiest month in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. Imagine it, in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, under this PNM. Now we're saying about 204 up to May 26. So they have done nothing to deal with crime. They have failed to curb that skyrocketing crime. And I want to remind you, under my watch, we brought serious crimes down in this country to the lowest in 31 years. 3 decades, we were able to bring down serious crime. So they failed when it comes to crime fighting. And I want to alert you tonight to something that they are planning. We gave you some of the corruption. In my respectful view, this Raleigh government is the most corrupt government in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. Most corrupt government. And whilst they're busy filling their bank accounts, we are suffering with respect to job losses. They have failed to deal with crime. They have delivered nothing in 4 years. Nothing in 4 years. They have become a government of announcements. So every Monday morning is a new big announcement. Okay, listen, they have not built one house in 4 years. They are now promising to build 6,000 houses in 2020. You hear a lie? That is big lie. Big lie. They did not build a single school in their 4 years. Single school. We told them we built 106 schools. They said, where are the schools? Show me the schools. Well, look, the schools. We put up 106 photographs of all the schools. The one we opened in Paramin. We opened Rose Hill. Listen, Rowley posed in. I gave him a little yellow cupcake because we opened that school on my birthday. He was there smiling. You saw some pictures earlier. You saw Mr. Imbert, we opened a school there. You saw Marlene McDonald, we opened a school there. We built 106 schools in our 5 years. They have not built one. So when they asked for the schools, I'm not showing it tonight, but it's there on the Facebook. You can check it out yourself. We showed you the pictures in it. We don't just talk, you know. You could see it, you could touch it. After we showed them the pictures and put the whole list of schools, hear the story now. Well, listen, we have to get what? How many? $3 billion to build school and fix school. Look, after 4 years, you didn't build one. In one more year election, you will not build one something school. You will build none. Not one. Government of announcements, talking about hospitals, man. I have a video. Can we run the health video, please? Of what we did for the health sector when we were there.
Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar commissioned the start of services at the Scarborough General Hospital on Wednesday. In her address, she commended the people of Tobago for their fortitude despite the long wait for the facility. Here's more.
Featured speaker at the event, Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar stated that she was delighted after many delays, doubts and misgivings, the people of Tobago will finally see the delivery of the Scarborough General Hospital.
And indeed, it's about time. We were talking about this hospital like a baby and over the years, but when I'm counting the years, it's no longer a baby, it's a teenager at 14 years old if you count backwards. It's no longer a baby, 14-year-old. So you're inheriting and commissioning today something that is already mature. This was not a disaster of your making or our making, but it was an issue I mandated must be resolved. And here we are today, making you the promise that for as long as my government continues,
for Trinidad and Tobago.
As we continue along UDECOT's healthcare portfolio, we enter the site of the new Point Fortin Hospital, located on Egypt Main Road, and is easily accessible and has the added advantage of being 5 minutes away from the borough's town centre and traffic congestion. With easy access and egress, the rush of emergency cases will better be facilitated. This 170,000 square foot facility will provide 100 beds at the Point Fortin Hospital. A helipad is to be constructed to facilitate the airlift of patients should any emergencies arise. As you make your way into the Point Fortin Hospital via the main entrance on the ground floor, the lobby sets a tone of calm and reassurance for both patients and their loved ones.
UNC Works. Those are some of our projects in the health sector. So I talked to you about education. I talked about construction and education. There's a lot more we did, not just the hardware of the constructions. I'll talk to you another day about that. In the healthcare sector, we've shown you the work that we had done, that we're in train. You know, if we had continued in government, we would have completed the Arima Hospital. We would have been opening that this year. We would have completed the Point Fortin Hospital and the Port of Spain block for the they are just doing the central block. Our plan was for a 750 teaching medical campus for Port of Spain. So God is great. We get another chance with your help, so we can continue the work that we have. To do. So tonight I want to alert you and to ask questions of this government with respect to local government reform and with respect to local government elections. I have here a bill that was laid in Parliament on Friday. The name of the bill is the Miscellaneous Provisions Local Government Reform Bill 2019. The bill seeks to amend 9 pieces of legislation. It contains 11 clauses. And clause 2 of the bill provides the act would come into operation on such date as is fixed by the President by proclamation. So they laid it on Friday, but they have not told us yet when it will be debated. Now, this is a very important piece of legislation, because we've been talking about local government reform for decades in this country. We understand that we may be on the eve of another local government election, and so government has brought this to say that they are honoring their commitment for local government reform. But I am very, very concerned. There's 3 areas in this that troubles me very much, and the first has to do with this. Clause 3C of the bill. This is what it seeks to do. It seeks to amend subsection 3 of the existing law to vary the term of office of councillors from 3 years to 4 years. Stop. To vary the term of office of councillors from 3 years to 4 years. Sounds okay, doesn't it? The present law is that a councillor serves a term of 3 years. This is now a backdoor way to postpone the local government elections. Seems very simple. And councillors might be happy. They don't have to go to election, they'll get an extra year. Their term of office, 3 years, to be extended to 4 years. They have not delivered one house in their 4 years. They have not delivered a school. They have put over 50,000 people on the breadline. Take away your big grant, take away your food cards, take away social. So what they want to do? Postpone local government elections by 1 year. So I call on the government to clarify if it is their intention to do what a predecessor PNM government had done. They had postponed local government elections 3 times in a row. You all remember that? 3 times they postponed local government elections. So this rowdy PNM know they cannot win the local. They found a backdoor way to extend it by 1 year. But when you extend it by 1 year, it means no local government elections until 2021. No local elections until 2021, man. So they're afraid to call the local before the general because we gained such tremendous ground in the last local elections, and recently we took Barataria from them. So they're afraid. They are afraid. And this is a subversion of the democracy by coming through the back door. Sharing your plans. I didn't bring the book tonight, but we have our economic transformation plan. I've been sharing with you. We have the plans to get this country working again. We must get TNT working again. So I call on Keith Rowley, whichever part of the world he is now. I call on the Minister of Local Government to clarify the position with respect to this clause to extend the life by 1 year. Let's just take it down step at a time. The present law is that councillors have a term of office of 3 years. That 3 years will expire on the anniversary date of the last local. When was the last local? 28th November 2016. So that brings us to when? 28th November 2019. All the seats will become vacant. Then you will issue a notice of a poll and issue what is called a writ of elections. As the law stands, you can only issue the notice of the poll and a writ of election after the 28th of November. So that means the earliest you could do it is the 29th of November. And you must have the election within 3 months of that date. So we go in November, December, January, February. The earliest to issue the writ is in November of 29th of this year. And the latest will be that an election could be held is February next year. So some people tell me and say, Kamala, what they call in boss, listen now, they're going to call election July, they call in August, they call in September. The law is clear. They can only call it after the 26th of November. And then they have a 3-month period, okay? So don't get chained up and get frightened. And I know some of my Susan always emailing me, boss, no. We will do it when it's right, when the time is right. Don't let them chain you up. And then therefore, if you change this law now, and it comes into effect, you will not have a local, as I'm saying, until the 29th now, 26th, which is 2020 going into 21. General elections are due. You could call it any time, but general. Local, you cannot call it any time. You must do it after the expiration of the 3 years. A general is called any time a Prime Minister decides, and then he has up to September 5 next year, yeah? And then I have 3 months. So again, that can take place September, October, November, no later than in November 2020. So the local, if you change this, we may all fall into 21. You all are with me? You're following? So I asked first, I read for you this law, this new one they want to bring, will be proclaimed on a date to be fixed by the president. That law means the cabinet. The government fixes the date for proclamation. So when are they planning to proclaim? My first question is this. Are you going to use this to extend local government and have none this year? Secondly, my question is, do you by calling both the local and the give equality of the vote regardless of where you live for the local government election. I'll deal with the general on another day. I have with me here the latest report of the EBC with respect to local elections. I'll get it for you. Yes, that too. They didn't rob us, you know. People smart. This is the report of the EBC. First of all, this report is dated 12th June 2017. It was only laid in the Parliament in 2019. So the government got this in June 2017 and hide it. They were supposed to lay it in the Parliament and they never did. It was only when our team visited the EBC and said, listen, you all should have a report. According to law, that report should be done in a certain time. And the EBC told us, yes, they did the report and they had sent it to the government. We only found out that this year. And then when we started to ask, where is the report? Then they laid it in the Parliament. June 12, 2017, laid in 2019, a month or two ago. That's the first point with this EBC report. Okay? So to have a local election, this must be debated in the Parliament. Hasn't been done yet. Okay? Parliament goes into recess July, August, comes back out in September. So we are monitoring them, we are watching them carefully. So from this report now, I'm speaking to you on the principle of equality of the vote. In this report, we see the following. The numbers of persons in a corporation, local government corporation, there is no equity. You have a corporation like Tunapuna Piako Regional Corporation, which has 174,647 voters. So when they're jumping up on platform and they say they win 5 corporations and 7 corporations, which corporation? Point 14 has a high number of 16,874 voters. How can your vote in Tunapuna be an equal vote to the one in Point 14 when the Point 14, 16,000 voters, boss? They're getting a whole, but look at Diego Martin, because that's where we are tonight. The Port of Spain City Corporation has 37,999 voters. You know how many Diego Martin has? 88,151. So your vote is less equal than the vote in Port of Spain. You think that doesn't matter? Of course it matters. It means the person who votes in Port of Spain they got estimated to take care of the Port of Spain Corporation and not graduate. And the government, when they brought this local government reform bill that I spoke to you about, they could have taken care of these things. They could have taken care of these unequal practices in the democratic system. This could have been dealt with once and for all. And indeed, if and when they ever come to debate this, we will be proposing amendments accordingly, because that should not happen at all. Port of Spain, 37,999 voters. The estimates of money allocated for something called recurrent expenditure. You know, I heard earlier you were talking about rubbish everywhere, one of our speakers. That's what this does. This is part of it, the collection of garbage and so on. Here in Diego Martin, the allocation was $100,879. So Port of Spain with 37,999 voters gets $223,972. Diego Martin with 88,000 voters gets $879 million. Now, you know what that works out to? Let's calculate it down. It's not that you get the money in your hand, but that the money to be spent per person. Let's look at it. Allocation per person in Port of Spain is $5,894.15. Diego Martin is $1,144. Do you think that's fair? And the MP for here is the Minister of Finance. The MP for the other Diego Martin is the Prime Minister. So no wonder they can't collect your rubbish, because they have not put equitable allocations for you. And I'm not even talking about some of the South constituencies. I'll come to them in a minute to see what they are, but I'm just taking you right here next door to Port of Spain. This is your allocation. So in the Pinal Debe Regional Corporation, where I am, most of it is part of my constituency, per person, the allocation is $846. So for Port of Spain, per person, $5,894. For Diego Martin, $1,144. And for the PDRC, $846.57. What does it mean then? Diego Martin has more than twice the electorate of Port of Spain, but you get less than half the money given to Port of Spain. 5 times the amount per person in Port of Spain than in Diego Martin. If a person in Port of Spain gets $1 worth of service, in Diego Martin, you know what you get in? Take a guess. 20 cents. If a person in Port of Spain gets $1, for every $1 they get to take care of them, Diego Martin gets 20 cents. No wonder they can't collect your rubbish. They are totally under-resourced. The PDRC has twice the electorate of Port of Spain, but Port of Spain gets 3.5 times more money. Come down 7 times the amount per person in Port of Spain than in PDRC. So if a person in Port of Spain gets $1 in services, person in PDRC gets 14 cents. 14 cents. Do you think that is fair? And I haven't gone through the others because it is even worse. So the local government reform promised by the PNM will still perpetrate inequity and inequality. And in fact, if this continues, I certainly will be briefing our lawyers to file a constitutional motion which deals with the law in the Constitution says that every person is entitled to equality of treatment from any public office or authority. This cannot be equality. This cannot be fair to anyone. And I'm saying that went on for many years. But now that we have the local government reform bill, we could have attempted to address those matters. So that's 2. So you have, when you come to the local government reform, I'm saying, first of all, is this plot or conspiracy not to hold the local elections? Secondly, we do not have equality of allocation of resources. That's the money I shared with you. And we do not have equality of the vote. Some votes are more important than other votes, and that should never be the case. So, my friends, before I close, I just want to spend a few minutes on the Venezuela issue, because that is a burning issue as in the weeks coming ahead. For several months, we have been warning government that their policy towards Venezuela was misguided. They bury their heads in the sand. They will not acknowledge the influx of people. Now that the situation has reached crucial levels, they're scrambling to find a solution. Just last week, down in my constituency, 100 Venezuelans, young children included, women, were detained in Palo Seco and brought to Siparia. And they were released, but they had nowhere to go. Thank God for the Siparia Regional Corporation led by the UNC that we offered them temporary shelter at the Irwin Park facility. Now, I think whilst there's a humanitarian aspect, there are other serious issues arising. How many more people are coming in? What about drugs? What about guns? What about ammunition? What about all the illicit substances? You know, because of the lax border control. What about the lack of health services in Venezuela? And therefore, those who will be coming in with tuberculosis, malaria, hepatitis B, all these other diseases. The questions arrive really, how are they going to verify when they do this registration exercise who has a criminal record? Okay? How are they going to check that? Are they going to be medically screened before they're allowed to stay? And for those that fail medical screening, where are you going to send them? So very serious questions arise from this registration exercise. And look, if it's 40 or 50,000 people, they are now saying they're going to screen them in 2 venues in Trinidad. You imagine the chaos that will have? Thousands of people to be registered at 2 venues, one in South and one at the Queen's Park, one in Tobago. It's going to be pure chaos when that happens. But that's how the work policy by VAPS, and as I pointed out, the minister who is in charge of this exercise has gone off and jetted off somewhere. Yesterday, Rowley and Minister Young jetted off to the Netherlands. They're going on a meet or greet with some of the major energy companies. The last time Prime Minister did this, the NGC ended up paying more for gas. So heaven help us what will happen after this trip. This has nothing more than an attempt for him to save face. Remember, he said he was our country's greatest salesman. His energy policy has been nothing but hot air. And I am very, very concerned. I just want to share a few points in the energy sector, which has been the mainstay of our economy and of your jobs. The first thing is that under this government, there has been deindustrialization of Trinidad and Tobago, and therefore a consequent loss of many jobs. Under this Rowley PNM, in 2016, there was a closure of the Mittal Steel Complex. In 2017, closure of 2 MHTL plants, the methanol plants. 2018, closure of the Point of Air refinery. 2019, we get the news that Train 1 of Atlantic LNG will be closed down. All these major foreign exchange earning and job-making companies deindustrializing Trinidad and Tobago. On this energy jaunt, they've gone off on this jaunt, we'll see what happens. I think one of the most distasteful things that happened in the energy sector was the insult to BPTT's Claire Fitzpatrick by none other than the Minister of Finance. The relationship between the oil and gas companies and the government hit a new low when Imbert insulted the president of BPTT, Claire Fitzpatrick, by pointing out that she wasn't an engineer, but an accountant. Why has he never pointed out the fact that her 2 predecessors were not engineers either? Mr. Norman Christie was not an engineer. He was a financial expert. Robert Riley was a lawyer, not an engineer, but Imbert never had an issue with them. You have to ask the question, what does he have against women? So he attacked Claire Fitzpatrick. She's not an engineer. Others were not engineers. It was not a problem. Well, Imbert, let us tell you, you are not an economist. No, you're an accountant. You are an engineer and totally unfit to run the Ministry of Finance. Totally unfit. That collapsed in the same way the Trinidad and Tobago economy is collapsing under his watch. Look, a major issue is the refinancing of the Petrotrin bonds. Is that in trouble? Remember, we have to pay off this payment because of the colossal loss because of Malcolm Jones on the World GTL project down at Petrotrin. So we have this $1 billion debt coming up to pay in August. So what the government has been doing is trying to refinance the bonds, the loans that were taken for that failed World GTL project by Malcolm Jones. Last Friday, Minister of Finance was asked about refinancing these bonds. He dismissed concerns. He proceeded to abuse the opposition. He said the people at Heritage and Trinidad Petroleum have met their target. And he didn't want to steal their thunder. This is to refinance the loans, the bonds. What really happened that day is that for the third time, Trinidad Petroleum Holdings, as the company who succeeded Petrotrin, they had to extend the deadline for the bondholders to accept the refinancing of these bonds. Why are the bondholders not interested? We are talking here about just over 7 billion TT dollars. 7 billion TT dollars. A very serious matter, will have huge consequences for our national debt. The latest deadline, they moved it forward again to June 14, and the clock is ticking for the August deadline payment. The Minister of Finance should come and tell us about this. The economy is at stake, the future of Trinidad and Tobago is at stake. If we go belly up and bankrupt. The Toko port, based on BHP deep water discoveries, again, the government has not been honest with us. Due to the incentives we gave when we were there, BHP Billington has been exploring off the east coast of Tobago. And that northeast region of Trinidad has the potential to become a gas and oil industry, similar to Point Galeota and that region. Now, my information is that the fields there, our information is BHP has found significant reserves on natural gas east of Tobago, in wells called Belay and Bongos 2, to the east of Mayara in wells Leclerc and Victoria, to the tune of trillions of cubic feet of gas. This is a result of the work that we had done to incentivize them. But government is not telling us what is happening. Instead, they go off to talk, to make deals, and I'm very worried what deal this government will be making. They did not have the courtesy to tell the country before they went what talks they will be going into, what projects they will be going into, where they're going to sign an MOA or MOU. And my feeling is Rowley just wants to come back and say, hey, listen, we get a big deal. Mr. Rowley, I know we have found trillions of cubic feet of gas off the East Coast, and that was as a result of the work of the People's Partnership Government. So my friends, on these points, I will close. I know you expected me tonight to tell you about call elections now. I think you all can say it for me. And I want to share this finally with you. As I close, the way forward, that there is hope. We must never, ever give up hope. I know that the past 4 years have been difficult, but I know that there is always hope for our nation. Unlike this PNM government, the UNC will never give up on you, and the UNC will never give up on Trinidad and Tobago. We believe that everyone should have a decent job. We believe that all children should have the best possible education. We believe that the economy of our country should work for all and not for just for the friends and financiers and Faris and Young of this government. We believe that people should not have to rely on a minister owning land in their community before that area could get an overpass or a proper road. We also believe that in the 21st century, where mankind is now planning to go to Mars, that the people of Trinidad and Tobago should not be begging for a regular water supply. At the mid-year budget review, I unveiled the UNC's Economic Transformation Plan. Our plan takes a holistic approach to our economy and centers around diversification of our economy. Our plan is to use 12 key prosperity engines as the backbone, such as our planned West Port of Spain Creative Arts Area, East Port of Spain Steel Pan Manufacturing Facility. We will harness the creative capacity of the people. Our economic plan will also focus on investments in agriculture and food security, which our friend spoke of, empowering our farmers, enabling them to export more produce, and cutting obstacles and red tape for small businesses so they can grow into big ones. We will focus on the jobs of the future, promoting information technology, science, technology, engineering, and maths. This will enable our next generation to join the fourth industrial revolution, moving not just into the digital age, but into the age of robotics as we go forward. We in the ANC believe that the problem of crime doesn't just lie in tough law enforcement. I do not believe any one of our beautiful children of TNT are born criminals. But some of our young people get caught up in a cycle of violence. We must work together to break that cycle. Our ANC crime policies will treat with the causes of crime, namely poverty and disenfranchisement. We must give our young people proper avenues for mentorship and skills training so they can be the best version of themselves. The UNC will also take our country in the economy of the future to invest in renewable energy with our planned Tamana Solar Tech Renewable Energy Park. The successful economies of the future will be those that work in harmony with the natural environment and the amazing diversity of beauty of our environment here in TNT. These are just some of our plans, and we'll continue to roll out our plans as we go ahead. I want you to know that we are fully prepared to lead our nation once again. And I promise you, we will work very hard to fix the mess created by this incompetent, clueless, and wicked rowdy government. I want you to have hope and to always remember that half of me, I tell you, belongs to you. The other half I give to you, so all of me belongs to you. All of me. You have had other leaders before me. You will have leaders after me. But you will never have a leader who loves you as much as I do. You will never. So UNC family, raise your voting finger with me. Raise your voting finger. Show me your voting finger. With this finger, you have the power. With this finger, you have the power to put a government in office, and you have the power to vote a government out of office. Bring down the power. Bring down your power and move this wicked government out of office. God bless you, and I thank you.
Thank you for your support tonight at the United National Congress here in the Diego Martin constituency. Thank you for your massive support, and we look forward to seeing you on June 10th in San Fernando West. June 10th, San Fernando West at Naparima College, the next venue for the United National Congress special Monday night forum.
A wind of destruction is blowing over this land. And now the earth is trembling with man's oppression of man. Bring down the power. Now the time